Happy Saturday, everybody. I'm Dr. Mint here in my office in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I want to share with you something that's been on my mind, especially over the last few days. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of new people, and I'm very grateful for that. And part of being a good chiropractor and part of the experience here at Mint is really having a fundamental understanding of what's going on in your nervous system. As you can see right here, you have a spinal nerve distribution chart. This shows you where all the nerves that come out of your spine, they're kind of like wires, and they control every single organ, tissue, cell in your body. So down to the smallest cell, everything is constantly in communication and under the control and guidance of the brain, sending signals down the spine, the spinal cord, and out along the pathways of the nerves. So the pathway goes from above, down, inside, out. For example, this area here, in the top part of the upper back, it controls the nerves that control your hands, your arms, the upper extremities, all the movements, as well as the heart and the lungs and how they function. So you can understand how these different levels of the different wires or nerves of your body control different systems of the body. And if they're working well together, that's how you create a healthy, wholesome sense of wellness where everything is able to perform at its best. And that's my goal as a chiropractor. So just to break it down for you again, real simply, all these joints are movable. What happens is when you're under a state of stress or your body has been under some trauma, or for example, a car accident, but it could even be sitting in an improper position or sleeping in the wrong position for a number of years, sometimes even a few months, can cause these injuries to the disc. What happens is the disc separates the two bones at each level of the spine. You can see here between these 26 movable segments of the spine, you have a disc between each one of them, except for the upper cervical spine, which is the uppermost part of your neck. We'll get into more of that in a second. But if you're looking at any particular joint in the spine, you can see how close the spinal cord is compared to in relation to the bones and as well as the disc. Now you see that this disc is also contained by these soft tissue structures. The annular fibers is a scientific term. So what happens is when your spine is sitting correctly with one bone on top of the other, it's not compressing the disc here. That's able to last you 100 years because that's going to glide around simply like this. It's not going to put any pressure on any of the nerve tissue over here, because what happens is instantly from a car accident, something like this, where now the bones are sitting offset and it's actually pushing some of the disc material outward. But look what's right behind that, the nerve system. So that's where a lot of the problems like pain and dysfunction come from in the body, because of inflammation around the disc, irritating the nerve tissue, or from the bones not sitting properly over the disc space, which causes improper movement of the spine. Now, eventually, the body is going to start shutting down that movable segment, where now there's a sense of interference. So now that normal pathway, like we talked about at the beginning, for the brain to be able to understand and get feedback on what's happening in the body, it depends on this nerve system which runs right through the spine. But if that part of the spine is not moving properly because it's injured or because it's misaligned, now the brain doesn't get the proper feedback from that part of the body. Now it's going to affect a certain and particular system of the body. That's detrimental to your health, and that's going to cause your health to decline. So what my job as a chiropractor, I'm working with the spine, but not because the spine is the most important, because the brain is the most important. And by working exclusively with the spine, you can make sure to send the proper feedback so that the brain knows which areas of the body need attention, and it can send the healing mechanisms of the body to that spot immediately. The nervous system works very, very quickly. It's like electricity. So when you make an adjustment to a particular segment in the body, you can directly influence how that system and whatever is connected to those spinal nerves, how your body is performing instantly, okay? So it's pretty amazing. That's why a lot of my patients get really, really great results pretty dramatically and pretty quickly as well, even after one adjustment. Now, what we mentioned before about the upper part of your neck you can see this is the base of your skull right here. There's a big hole, never mind this little metal piece right here, but there's a big hole where part of your brain actually comes down into the spinal cord area. So this segment right here, remember this one doesn't have a disc. This is like a ring-shaped bone that's actually rotating, and it's surrounding the brain stem, which descends down to right about that level, and it continues as a spinal cord throughout the rest of the spine. Of course, the spinal nerves are connected to this part, and some of the brains that are connected to your nerves that are connected to your actual brain come down through this base of the skull. And if there's any misalignment of this upper structure here, this is called the atlas. This is the most important area of the whole spine to get adjusted, and I definitely focus on this particular region with all my patients, because this leads to tremendous results very quickly as well. So again, the two takeaways that I want you to take from this today is that movement of the spine is essential for the brain to get the proper feedback on what's going on with the body, so that it can be in proper communication and also enhance its ability to guide and direct what's happening in the body in an effective way, so that your body's in a state of healing rather than being in a state of stress where it can't move properly. Number two, we want to make sure that the nerve system is functioning at its best. So adjustments to the stressful areas of the spine, where the stress is interfering with that proper communication pathway and performance ability, we make specific adjustments to the spine, and that is going to in turn improve the function of the nervous system. The brain and the body has a better connection, and that's how your body is able to achieve a state of wellness. And based on how long your body can maintain that, that's how long we would typically recommend that you get adjusted. So come on over to Mint Chiropractic. You can go visit us at